Every year when we come for graduation, I always get a little misty and cry a little bit because I sit and I notice that this is the last time we'll ever have this same group of people here for this same purpose. Whenever a new set of seniors graduates and goes on to what they go on to do, the dynamics of the next class changes. We had a certain dynamics when September started, and we'd have a certain dynamics with the core group, the group that started this year off from September to June. Our dynamics will change. Next year we'll have a totally different dynamics. And I sit here and I cry because I miss the dynamics, because next year it'll be a whole different dynamics, a whole another group of children with their little problems and the little things that they want to learn and their needs that have to be addressed. So that's why I sit here, and it's such a time of reflection for me. And although that we celebrate here, and what we're here for is to celebrate commencement, it's also an ending, the climax of years of education. Some of you may feel a real glow of accomplishment, some an equally satisfying sense of relief, and some of you may feel a bit uncertain about what lies ahead. But guess what? That all goes with the territory. I'm a bit older than some of you, and I must confess that each day I begin with that same feeling, remembering the good things from the past, relieved that to have gotten through some of the not so good things, and wondering what's coming up next. That legendary baseball player, Satchel Paige, once counseled his public in these words: "Don't look back. Someone might be gaining on you." I'd like to amend that advice somewhat. Don't be afraid to look back, but try to look ahead with the advantages of past experiences. That, rather than to see whether or not someone is gaining on you, is why man was designed to be able to turn and to look in any direction. Above all, as you move on, remember that human attribute, the ability to turn around and to look in any direction. Blinders are for horses, not for people. If education has any one single purpose, that purpose and that goal is to encourage people to know how to ask questions and to know how to go about getting answers. It's not enough in life to be a good listener, a passive member of the audience. It's not enough to look straight ahead and never look around. It's not enough to breathe a sigh and figure that your learning days are over. The lucky individual is the individual that understands that learning never stops until he or she stops breathing. This is our commencement day, and it's only fitting for us to say to you, as we salute you for your accomplishments, that truly this day is just the beginning.
Can talk, then you can see Jesus standing by you.
Cnythia Porter didn't like what she saw in too many public schools, crowded classrooms, drugs, and violence. It's a picture that drove her to embrace a different way of teaching and to create her own school. Now, as Rita Braver found, the most important lesson the children learn might not be from a textbook, but from the life of Cnythia Porter.
It's assembly time at the West Coast School in Sarasota, Florida.
Was your mom really proud this time for your report card?
The school that Cnythia Porter runs with her husband, the Reverend Henry Porter.
Let that tension go, sweetheart. Very good.
A school that's different from most you've ever seen.
Now I want you to think about how it feels. You've graduated from high school. You were at the top of your class. You're going to college now. I want you to think about going across that stage, getting your diploma.
When Henry and Cynthia Porter opened their school in these back rooms of this old church, they threw out the rule book of current American education. Their belief, it just doesn't work for black children.
I think they get lost and they're miseducated because teachers are not always open to cultural differences.
Okay, so now we're talking about Austin. Now, Austin is very...
The Porters believe blacks do best when educated with other blacks.
This is not segregation. This is nurturing and building self-esteem. You see, we bust the children's bodies to school, but we didn't bust their culture with them. Reading is a reward for doing something. We hug the child, we kiss the child, we tell him how good he is. And that's it, and we go ahead, we do something else.
The school runs from nursery through senior high. 2 white children go here, so do the Porters' own 4. 75 students in all.
Did you write a note today?
Cynthia Porter may have the power to make children feel good about themselves,
2, very good, very good.
but sometimes she lacks the strength to leave her own house.
Just give me a minute. You get it together. Oh, I hate this. I got this one down.
A woman in constant pain since a drunk driver slammed into her car 3 years ago, leaving her with a brain injury.
What are the things that they tell you are wrong with you?
I have seizures. I have light strokes. The blood pressure is always very high.
And it triggered some other diseases, a chronic fatigue syndrome.
Yes. Depression.
She also developed a blood deficiency, forcing her to battle frequent infections.
Can you ever get better from this?
No.
Do they tell you it will get worse?
I will learn to live with it. I'm kind of having a slow morning.
Some days, Porter is too weak to do more than talk to her students by phone.
Do your best today. Make certain you do your best.
But Porter forces herself up and back to school to inspire students like Rodrisa Kelly.
They used to call me little bitty. I used to stick under my mother like a big chicken. But now that I've come here, I've come out. You know, it's been a 360-degree turnaround for me.
Now Rodrisa plays the African Queen in the school show. She's been offered 2 college scholarships.
I can do anything that I want to do. If I want to be president, I can do that, you know.
They're going to go out into a society that is dominated in terms of power by white people.
Yes.
How are they going to do?
They're going to do okay because they feel good about themselves.
People come together.
And this song was written for Porter by one of her graduates.
Tearing down the hole and bring it on the news. People come together.
I like that. Okay, I do. You can be a good student. You can make straight A's. And you can still sing. And you can go on to college, and you can go on to produce music.
So far, 14 students have graduated from the West Coast School. 11 have gone on to college.
On the days that I have a life, I try to live it to the fullest. And on the days that I don't have a life, I'm so driven.